Greensboro. How y'all doing today? My name is Glen Bradley, and yes, I'm actually running, and believe it or not, I'm competitive for the vice chairmanship of the North Carolina Republican Party. But I'm not here today to talk about that. I'm here to talk about a real, serious, and present threat to our American values, to American free enterprise, and quite possibly even to life on Earth itself. That threat is the one posed by corporatism, also known as fascism, and specifically the company known as Monsanto Incorporated. Occupy America calls the Tea Parties right-wing nut theocratic fascists, and the Tea Parties call Occupy left-wing nut hippie communists, and we are all too busy hating each other to recognize that we all have more in common than we have against each other. Malcolm X once said, if you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. His words ring true to us today as the media takes very careful pains to set us against one another, while the real criminals sit back in the shadows and laugh about the chaos that they have wrought. We must learn to get beyond this. The threat posed by Monsanto is real and it is imminent. It becomes more difficult every day to find commodity staple crops like rice, corn, and sugar that have not been infected with GMO and GMO-based pesticides. Our small family and heirloom farmers are being driven out of business at an accelerating and alarming rate, and if we do not get past our differences with one another and stand up to face the enemy, we could face the prospect of nothing but corporate farms, leading to the extinction of the American honeybee and following by the end of life as we know it. But despite all of this, ladies and gentlemen, I have more hope than you can possibly know, because here am I, a Republican, not only a Republican, but a competitive candidate for the vice chairman of the Republican Party. And here I am talking to you today about the dangers of Monsanto and what we have to do to fight them. A kind of anti-establishment bipartisanship that would have been seen as blatantly impossible only 10 years ago. GMO labeling is only one small piece of the picture. A more important step will be to put an end to the phenomenon of captured regulators. And only if we stand together can we make that happen. Monsanto cannot survive without the government protecting and enabling their criminal behavior. We cannot and we must not tolerate the nonsense, like the FDA banning the labeling of salmon as GMO-free on one day, and then the next day approving GMO salmon for human consumption. This must not be a partisan thing. It will only work, ladies and gentlemen, if it is an American thing. The Tea Parties have come to terms with the fact that corporatist operators like Monsanto are a violation of everything that America stands for, and learn to tolerate the complaints of the Occupy against them. And Occupy must come to terms with the fact that Monsanto can only do what they do because the FDA directly enables their behavior, and learn to tolerate the Tea Partiers complaining against the FDA. Because when we learn to stop dividing ourselves against one another and come together as Americans to put down the establishment, to put down enemies of the human race like Monsanto, like the rabid dogs they are, then no force on earth can stop us. Right now, I want to say a word about House Bill 379 in the North Carolina General Assembly right now, claiming to clarify the Board of Agriculture's authority over all plant life in the state of North Carolina. What this bill does is nothing less than to put total control over every form of plant life in the entire state to the discretion of an appointed, unelected board. The ramifications for GMO and Monsanto are plain. This is nothing less than a preemptive act to prevent the regulation of GMO infection at the county level. I don't know offhand. Well, we'll say the number again. Republicans in the General Assembly are supposed to be about smaller, less intrusive government and less federal and state regulation, not more. This action is a direct violation of everything that Republicans are supposed to stand for, and it must not be tolerated. That's House Bill 379 to clarify the Board of Agriculture's authority over all plants in the state, and it passed the State House on April 30th by a vote of 94 to 23. It's currently sitting in the State Senate Committee on Agriculture, Environment, and Natural Resources. I implore you all here, please, to remember this bill. That's House Bill 379, the Board of Agriculture's authority over plants. We must come together and demand that the State Senate kill this bill before they use it to force GMO crops onto counties that do not want it. We are supposed to be about local control, less intervention into the affairs of our citizens. This is a terrible bill, and it will do irrevocable harm to the state of North Carolina. Please contact your North Carolina state senators and keep contacting them until House Bill 379 is a dead letter. Ladies and gentlemen, the power to put an end to this is in our hands, and it's our time to rise up and take it. Thank you so much.